I think you might be is possessed by a real demon. And Netanyahu is very clearly a demon. And any person that supports him, like you are a part of a like totally demonic enterprise. I would literally rather saw off my own foot than support Israel ever again, by the way. Never.
That we're seeing now right-wing bases. Who would have thought that Tucker Carlson, of all people, would sit there and be the #1 advocate against Zionism in America today? Candace Owens.
Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We're going to look at a very interesting video. And let's just be 100% honest. Candace's rhetoric has been very problematic. It's been super bombastic, very polarizing, extremely polarizing. And lots of people have mentioned that what she says sounds exactly like a certain religious people group that she alleges to not align with, but they seem to really rock with what she's saying. So let's pull this video in and you decide for yourself. Down in the comment section, let me know. I really appreciate it. So let's go.
I would literally rather saw off my own foot than support Israel ever again, by the way. Never supporting that demonic nation ever again. That's like, I am so off that train. It's crazy. I've learned way too much. Like you delivered in every way that you are supposed to deliver by just going full mask down. You often hear this word inhumane, right? They don't dehumanize. You dehumanized yourself. You proved that you have to not be a human to look at what is going on in Gaza and to try to spin it as necessary, as a necessary response to October 7th. That takes somebody that is something other than human to keep doing that. And that's what you've done, and that's what you're being, and I will never be able to unsee that like the rest of the world. That's why I say it's incumbent upon us now. These are our kids that are growing up. You may have been able to do it with Robert Maxwell's textbooks, raise generation people to think like I did, like, oh my gosh, like we have to make sure that a Holocaust never happens. We have to support Israel. Nope. Now we are reading the books. We're learning about how you've executed this. You've blindfolded the entire world to what you are. And what I think you might be is possessed by a real demon. I'm Catholic. I believe in demons. And Netanyahu is very clearly a demon. And any person that supports him, like you are a part of a like totally demonic enterprise. And we're never going to be able to unsee that, okay? Oh, it didn't happen. No, Hamas is stealing. Hamas, ISIS, all of these people are just so conveniently, these terror groups are so convenient in helping Israel expand its borders. We know that now. We're aware of these operations that you're running and constantly blaming it on Muslims, radical Muslims that you're funding always, right? We just always happen to be funding, Israel happens to be funding these groups. We're aware of what you're doing in Armenia. You're killing Christians. You've always been killing Christians. And you've always been pointing the finger at Muslims. So everyone's awake to that now. You got a little bit more than a PR problem, Bill Ackman, okay? You have the PR solution, which is that you won. We know what you are. We see what you are. So what are you going to do now? Kill us all? That's kind of the broader question that I think you guys are going to have to ask yourselves. Pass more speech laws in America?
That we're seeing now right-wing bases. Who would have thought that Tucker Carlson, of all people, would sit there and be the #1 advocate against Zionism in America today? Candace Owens. Inshallah, Candace Owens. Did you guys see the Ted Cruz interview where Tucker Carlson rips into Ted Cruz and just completely destroys him? Matt Walsh likewise, and there's a huge Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sean King said to me when we were in the car once, he said, Sammy, you don't understand who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. She's the representative of the most racist area in Georgia. African Americans were told not to go to her area. She's now one of the loudest advocates against Zionism. But here's my point about the Ummah when you said that we've done everything we can. Why has that change taken place? Because we've started to deploy a power that we haven't maxed out yet. Trump is looking at Tucker Carlson, who's saying we shouldn't get involved. Candace Owens, we shouldn't get involved. Matt Walsh, we shouldn't get involved. Dave Smith, Trump needs to be impeached if he goes into Iran. So Donald Trump, because of that scream, because of you here in Kuala Lumpur, because of us in London, because of those in Berlin, in Rome, because we actually decided to speak about it, because it became relevant, because we decided to tweet about it, because we decided to because we decided to do da'wah at last instead of sleeping, what happened was Trump instead went to the Iranians and said to them, listen, I need a way out. I'm going to send 2 bombers. They're going to bomb, but what did Israel say? These 3 sites. Your scream, your voice, it has power. It shifted an entire US foreign policy. It stopped Trump from intervening in Iran itself. And this is the whole point. When people say, why come to Kuala Lumpur? Why go to these places? It's because the power is not there like you think it is. The power is here, even though I think you guys are here. We are achieving results. They said that when Trump comes to power, it will be disastrous, like for Muslims in America. Mahmoud Khalil, arrested, released. Rumaysat Oztur, arrested, released. Mohsen Mahdawi, arrested, released. American Muslims for Palestine, tried in Michigan, the case was dropped. Tried in Nevada, the case was dropped. They tried to pass the anti-boycott bill, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she pulled it. They tried to do a non-profit killer bill where the Attorney General would have the unilateral right to remove a tax-exempt status. Guess who removed that clause from the bill? Christian churches who said, why is Zionism intervening in terms of how we decide our non-profit? The reality is that people are making an effort and it's working. And you went to America, you've seen those Yemeni cafes. Oh my goodness. These places are packed until 2 a.m. and they're everywhere in America. And Yemeni cafes like it. So I went, I said, guys, how did you succeed? Like, give me the secret. I'd love to see a Muslim, like cafe succeed in the UK in this way. They said, Sammy, when people actually started thinking about where they put their money, the money just flowed. Sammy, we can make big Muslim businesses. We can make big economic powers. The reason they don't exist is not because of the absence of money. It's because we don't take care how we spend. We don't take care where we go.
All right. So part of the rhetoric that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and many others have inadvertently gotten into is really a pro-Muslim, pro-Islamist rhetoric. And I don't think they even realize it. I don't think they realize it. Some of the things that we're fighting for, and again, I've said this before, there's a lot of things the government does that the government shouldn't do. And it seems like they're using those things against us to really seed themselves beneath us and actually force us out of our position, which is crazy work. And again, notice how he talks about some of the people that think they're doing the right thing. Candace, he literally says she's doing the work of the Islamists to help them establish their foothold here in the United States. How crazy is that? Let me know what you think. I want to hear your thoughts on it. This is definitely a niche type of idea. So I would love to get more feedback and such like that. We'll be looking more into it, of course, but I want to hear what you think. So give me a comment down below. Give me your 2 cents. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.